right, guys. Hey, Paul McClain here. Welcome to the Leveled Up Investments podcast, where our goal is pretty simple. It's to be able to help you have a higher understanding of how to lift the lid in the real estate world. For most of you that are watching this, maybe you're like myself, where you're doing some other kind of business, creating some great income, and you're like, man, where can I place my money to go out there and make money, more money, right? Because it's one thing to make good money, but in order to be making great money, you got to know what to do with that good money. And so maybe that's you, or maybe you're in the real estate industry and you're looking to take it to the next level. Maybe you've been a realtor for some time and you're wanting to say, hey, how do I lift this lid? How can I go out there and find different ways to make some money in this world? Maybe that's wholesaling, flipping, different creative financing. And so we want to be able to provide that for you. And today, I've got a great guest on with me today. His name is Daniel Galan.
Yeah,
I said it right. I was hoping I got it with the right accent. I think I got the accent right. But hey, man, good to have you on. First of all, bro.
Hey, thank you for bringing me aboard.
Yeah, and it's been a pleasure working with you. I think the first thing that anybody that's building a business, and I was in financial services for a long time and worked with thousands of agents. And what I learned the hard way is that, picking somebody that has got similar goals, values, and alignment, man, it's so important, because that's the most frustrating thing is maybe you're working with somebody that's productive, they're doing okay, but if you don't like working with them, man, it sucks, right? Like, you don't want to build a business you hate because you look up, you're like, dude, I don't like anybody I'm working with. But dude, it's been a pleasure to work with you, man. You brought a lot of value to the team, and really, I think you're the perfect person to kind of speak to what we'll talk about today, which is how to lift the lid in the real estate world. For anybody that's stepping in, or maybe they don't have a license, but they want to become a realtor, and they're saying, I want to make sure I can really capitalize and take everything it has for me, right? I can take everything it has to give me. And then maybe somebody's out there and they've been a realtor for some time, and they're saying, I want to go out there and I want to do more, make more, and create more. And we have that opportunity here. And so really, first, I want to just have everybody get to know you a little bit more. Talk about kind of your background. You've been a traditional realtor for quite a while. You've had some great successes out here in the high desert and what you've accomplished. Kind of talk a little bit about, what you've done and maybe even how did you decide to become a realtor in the first place?
Funny story. I actually became a realtor because somebody told me that I couldn't be a realtor. I was playing with the idea with it, and I actually met another realtor when I was working there at the Walmart distribution center, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, come on board. Like, you got what it takes. Take your test, get your schooling in, and I'll kind of show you a few things here and there, and we'll teach you the ropes." I said, "Awesome, cool." So then I had an interview with one of my managers at the time. And he asked, hey, what's your goal? Like, what are you looking for outside of work? And I let him know, hey, I'm actually looking at, taking on real estate as a second opportunity to make another source of income. And he just kind of sat back and laughed. And I said, what's the laugh about? And he was like, well, I personally don't think that you have what it takes to make it in a cutthroat industry like that. So when somebody tells me no, I take that as an opportunity to be like, okay, that's my motivation. So I said, okay, just kind of stayed quiet, gave him a nice smile. After the interview, went and signed up for my realtor courses, got through my time, scheduled my test, and I passed my test on my first try. So
I love it. Well, hey, now I know, man. I don't think you can do 180 flips this year. Sometimes you just got to know how to motivate people. But, bro, I love that. The fact that when somebody told you something, your response wasn't like to let that word be your truth. You're like, that's a lie, right? And I think, first of all, for anybody on here, I mean, a lot of what we do is we have the leveled up life philosophy as well. Like, we're looking to increase and enhance everybody's life in every area that matters most. I got into financial services at 19, and prior to that, Daniel, like my background, I didn't have anybody that had showed me the ropes as far as how to think big, how to make money, how to be an entrepreneur. My dad was a plumber at Roto-Rooter. My entire life growing up until I was 18. My mom worked as a PTA mom, which means that she made no money. She was a volunteer, but she wanted to have a title. And I was just looking, for me, I wanted to have a shot to do more and make more, create memories, be able to give back, to do some things that I didn't want money to have to dictate. But I got exposed to personal growth early on, joining the financial services world, and that exposure of getting around multimillionaires and big thinkers as a 19-year-old young adult allowed me to go out there and really start to think different, strategize different, believe different, and I derive confidence from that. And so that's a big part of what we do here, and is to understand what the next level version of you looks like. So when anything comes that doesn't line up with that, you can delete it, you can cast it out, and continue to march forward with really the next level you. And it sounds like you kind of had that working at the Walmart distribution, like, this guy's a liar. Like, I can do this. And I'm going to go prove him wrong.
Yeah.
So you did prove him wrong because you sold a lot of houses. Like, what was your best year as far as in personal?
Best year was 175,000.
What about how many houses did you sell?
That was 27 houses.
Okay. And you managed a team as well.
Correct.
How big was the team?
I started with them when the team was just beginning. It was just me and 2 other guys, and we grew it to, I want to say, 42 agents before I decided to come investigate, level up, and kind of make the jump over here.
Okay, well, hey, great. That leads me to my next question. So you've got stuff's going well, right? I think most people that are looking to step into the real estate industry, they're probably more alike than they are not alike. I would assume they want more time, more freedom in schedule, where they can kind of decide what to do, when to do it. They don't have somebody telling them what to do. And I would assume they want to be able to go out there and probably have no lid on their income. Like, they want to make more money than they're currently making. And so I would say most people are like, hey, 175 grand, like, that would be good. Like, I would like to achieve that. You achieved it, and it wasn't good. Like, you were still looking up. Did you kind of hit a lid, you felt like, and you were looking at expanding that and trying to find different ways to bring more income in?
Absolutely. Coming into the traditional real estate space, it's very linear. Once you kind of know the basics, and there are some things that change here and there, but for the most part, every transaction runs the same way. And when you do that so many times, it becomes monotonous. Don't get me wrong, helping out families, getting them to be proud homeowners is amazing. And that's what really fed me from the time that I started till now, as to why I even worked so hard to do so. It was great seeing the faces, the smiling faces of the kids, and people being super happy. That was awesome. It was very motivating. However, at the end of the day, when I lay my head down at night, it's, what about me and my family? I'm serving everybody else. I'm making, okay money, good money compared to, most people, but there's got to be more. Every day I woke up thinking, like, there's got to be more to this, and I'm missing something. Well, what I was missing was the investment side, the wholesale side, the flipping side. How do I break into that? Because you hear it all the time about investors, and I always thought investing was just get into stocks, get into the S&P 500, check out Vanguard and all that stuff, but I never knew that real estate was another form of investing. So I kind of was like, there's something more. So let me tap into that. Let me become an even better realtor by not only knowing the traditional side, but also knowing the investor side. So now I've opened the door to so many more options for my clients, and I can just serve them so much better now.
I love that, man. And I think you're 100% right. Like, you also only have so much time, right? Like, I know as an insurance agent, I was able to go out and make $400,000 or $500,000 a year on my own personal pin, but there was a lid. Like, I couldn't go out and make $4 million in a year. Why? Because that's a service. It's an active, income producing thing. Like, it takes me doing it, and so there's only so much me. There's only so much time, and I think it's the same kind of thing that a realtor probably faces. Is that you only have so many hours in a day to show a house, right? Or list a house. Like, there's only so many hours, and so, as you go into the investment world, you start opening up doors where you can create passive income by finding different opportunities that maybe normally weren't in front of you, or maybe they were in front of you, but you couldn't recognize them, right? And I think about, like, some of the deals that we've done with, like, Subject 2, where I didn't know that prior. I was kind of a traditional, I guess, investor, right? You're a traditional. I was kind of a traditional investor. Like, I'd go out and I built my income through the insurance world, and then I sold that business in 2020. But along the way, I knew that as I had disposable income, right, I put most of it all back in the business, but then it got to a point where it's like, okay, there's overflow. Where should I place it? And I think most people would agree, or you've heard it, like, real estate's a really great place to build wealth, right? To take your money and have it go to work for you, have it multiply. And so I bought a lot of houses and I held them. That was kind of the strategy, buy and hold. And I didn't really know much more than that. But then as I got introduced with Frank, just like you did with the investment side of it, kind of and partnered with him, it was like, okay, there's different things I can do. Even as an investor, I can make significantly more. Now I can buy a house, instead of going and getting a loan at 7% interest, I can go ahead and take over this existing loan at 3% interest. And now when I go ahead and get a tenant in there, my cash flow is going to be a lot higher, because the loan payment is a lot lower because the interest is low, right? And so that was something that I was like, man, this is a beautiful way to do that. And I've learned so much even with wraps and things like that have served me in my portfolio. But then it's like, okay, with real estate, and let me ask you this, Daniel, like, is most of your time spent as a realtor, like for the most part, I guess even more so maybe in the beginning, prospecting, like trying to find somebody that's going to have you list their house or want you to show them houses?
That's actually a good question, Paul. Absolutely. You spend 100% of your time prospecting. Me personally, people, in my age weren't really buying homes. All they tell you, hey, work your sphere of influence. Well, my sphere weren't ready to buy houses. And my parents, who I would reach out to next, they had already been established.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere for me to go. So 100% of my time was prospecting. It was answering phone calls. It was setting up social media ads or trying to promote myself, making goofy videos that I had no idea where they were going to go, without any kind of guidance. So yeah, when you first come into the industry, you're floundering, you're lost. You don't know what to do. You're hoping that somebody can guide you into the right direction, who's been there, who's done it, and lead you to another path of success.
Dude, that's so funny you say that, man, because I was sitting there thinking, like when I got my license at 19, they're like, go sell your friends, life insurance. I'm like, bro, I hit them up. I'm like, hey, you want some life insurance? They're like, dude, I ain't going to die. I'm 19. Like that was the response. Nobody had this idea of mortality, right? It's like, go try to sell that. But 100%. And so for me, like I've always said this, like, I don't think I would have been able to build a business doing $20 million a month in insurance sales if I didn't have leads. There's no way. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm not that good. I'm not that special. But if you can give me people that are already saying, hey, I want help in whatever service you're providing, dude, that's so. Now it's just like, God, may I not screw this up. Let me just connect with them, let them know that I really care and I'm there to serve and help them. Right. And that's really the extent of it. You don't even have to know a whole lot. You just need to care a whole lot because that's all the client cares about. And they've already raised their hand and expressed interest, right? And so for me, I was like, okay, if I got qualified people, that's a big deal. And that was one of the things as we stepped into the investment world, I understood that there's people out there that they want a cash offer for their house, and that's the best solution. Why? Because maybe they're behind on their mortgage and they don't have the time to put it on the market. Right. Maybe their house is not in a good situation where the condition is pretty messed up. Maybe their roof ain't falling in. Well, they can't get a traditional loan, right? Because the house is not up to par for a normal buyer to get a loan for that property. And maybe there's an emergency where they got to sell quickly for whatever reason to move. So I knew that there was people that a cash offer is a better solution than listing, right? But the question is, how do we get them? And so the same thing with insurance. We had thousands and thousands of leads generated each day for the agents. We duplicated that and we started running some ads targeting people that, possibly would want to get cash for their house because of one of those motivating factors. And so we started working those, putting those in place, getting them in different targeted areas. CRM we put in place so that way they get automated text messages. It books appointments directly into their calendar, just to know that, hey, if somebody's stepping in and they've never done wholesaling and now they want to make money wholesaling and they don't have people to call, buckle up, Buttercup. like you better have some kind of some pension that you're pulling from or something. Yeah. But like if you have qualified people, you can step into it and get moving quickly, just like a realtor. If I said you're a brand new realtor, here's 40 leads of people that want to sell their house. Well, now you're in business. But if not, you're doing all the prospecting to eventually build a book. Once the book is built, then you're going to be supplied. Well, heck, I don't know about you, man, but I'm not waiting to make my money. I want to go scale and build, and it makes it measurable, scalable, and buildable with resources and leads. So talk about that, Daniel. Your first, couple weeks calling leads. How did that work out? Did you get anything from it? What were the typical conversations? Were they easy? Were they tough? What did that look like?
Man, they're definitely tough, right? I don't come from a salesman background, so I was basically learning as I was going through. I was fumbling every conversation that I had. It was pretty funny. Some of the stuff after I hung up, I'm like, did I really say that? Completely bomb it. But it was literally 8 hours of dialing. Like, here's a list. Who knows who's been calling these people? It may be exhausted 4 or 5 times already. I don't know. I don't care. this is my job. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to sit there and call them. So for 8 hours a day, I was sitting there dialing, having conversations. Sometimes these conversations had nothing to do about real estate. They could be about the color of the sky. But the fact was, is I was making calls. I was doing what it took to get to the next step. Once I kind of learned the topics that I needed to speak about, how to draw the information that I need to get, the conversations became so much easier. But in the beginning, if you don't have nobody guiding you, it's super tough. It's up to you to go to YouTube Academy and try to figure it out. And most of us don't have money when we first start, so it's all the stuff you can do for free. But why not speed that up and align yourself with people who have already figured it out, who can tell you where to go, who have the resources to invest in you, because they have the money, you have the time. Dude, it's like bread and butter. It goes together perfect.
Yeah, because you're learning, so it's like you're making money in the education, right? That's going to show its fruit down the road. As you got going, though, I have campaigns going, and I wanted to kind of get your feet wet, right? And so I bought the leads, sent you over some of my old second chance kind of leads that maybe I didn't really work fully, and which I almost, when I say that, I want to punch myself in the face, right? Because that's like the antithesis of how I typically do. But the truth is, as I've been building this and putting the infrastructure in, I haven't really been working some of them fully. So I give them to you. You start calling the leads, right? The ones that we ran the campaign on. Did you get any deals done the first month? Or how many did you get under acquisition or contract? What would that look like?
I think it's very important to understand that I had no experience in the investor side. The wholesale thing was brand new to me. So it goes to show that even if you have just a little bit of an inkling, you can make it work in this industry. You can make it work as, wholesaling or looking into the investing side. But in that first month, I locked up 2 deals. I didn't know what I was doing. I've never dealt with a cash investor before. I was so used to my traditional side that it was foreign to me. But even with that being said, I was able to lock in 2 deals in that first month.
What? Let's talk about the first deal if you remember, or maybe the second if you remember better. But what did you get it under contract for?
I got it under contract for $30,000.
$30,000. Okay. I'm assuming it wasn't in California.
No, it was not. It was not.
So not in California. What was the ARV on this thing?
200,000.
200,000, right? Which is a big spread. So the way it works, obviously, is like you get under contract. We've got the investor lift account, so we got I forget what it's called, God mode on. All it knows is like 50, 60 grand to do it. But then you put it on and investor lift, and that's going to now blast it out to the investors. And so we have the platform and the process there to really kind of help people set it up and move forward. How excited are you about the potential to bring on other people that want to wholesale and give them the opportunity to do that with a good platform, good pay, investor lift, everything's set up and structured. But then also, as you bring them on board, it's not just like, hey, high five, thank you for the referral, but you get to participate in getting an income override from that. Does that excite you at all as far as a possible passive income?
Well, bringing them aboard is super rewarding, right? Because I was them at some point. I was them where I was kind of stuck and spinning my wheels to figure out, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I make more money? Right? So bringing somebody aboard is super exciting in the first place. Like, you can do it, and you can do it here. So that's awesome. And then the fact that I'm able to, make a little bit of an override, make some money on top of it while I'm teaching somebody. And at the same time, we're still serving people to what they really want. Dude, it's a win-win-win all the way around. It's super exciting, man. Super exciting.
I agree, dude. And I've enjoyed this new process as well, because as you know, like I've not done wholesaling for a decade. I did insurance, sales training, leadership development. Like that was my deal, was building that up. And I did it for so long. I mean, I did it where it was almost like my identity was doing that, because it was from 19 to like 32, 33. It's all I did. And as I stepped into this, and I feel like God really highlighted, like, hey, step into this. There's some value there. There's some ways where the industry can get a little better by having it tiered, where it's not, you could create passive income. And really this, I guess, holistic approach of like an ecosystem where we've got the real estate group with Leveled Up Compass Real Estate. We've got Leveled Up Investments, which is our whole platform of CRM and lead gen when it comes to finding these cash sellers, right, and the whole process there. And also Leveled Up Loans, where we've got, what we believe and what I've been exposed to by talking to Frank and you guys, the best interest rates for loans, which helps support us and shows us that we are the person we want to be for that client, which is whoever we connect you with, it's going to be the best, right? So great rates, but also great comp for the LOs. And then lead gen over there has been working phenomenal, where we had like Daryl being a brand new loan officer, not know nothing. I mean, he's an engineer by trade, you know, super smart. One of the guys I copied off in high school. So praise God for him. He was one of my A's came from sitting next to him.
That's awesome.
But went to, you know, UC San Diego, engineer, same kind of thing. I want to do more. I want to make more, kind of just really just capped on what he's making. You know, you can't just one day walk in and say, this year I'm going from 80 grand to 200 grand. The boss is like, bro, we don't get pay raises around here like that. We're talking like 3% a year, maybe 6. Like, but and now he's got his deal that's going to be closing and funding one of his loans. Just 30 days in, pay him $9 grand. And this is the worst he's ever going to be. So I told you, this is the worst we're all ever going to be. And as I stepped in and did it, and I called some leads, the people you meet, it's pretty cool too. Yeah. They all have a story. You know, the lady that I helped in Thomasville, Georgia, you know, she needed to get out quickly, and you know, it was a $25,000 assignment fee that it got done right away. She couldn't go on the market because she didn't have the time to do it. She didn't want to have realtors coming in, and it was just a great fit. And I realized that, man, if you can get connected with those people, they want the phone call. Sure. You know, it's like when you're cold calling saying, hey, I'll give you cash for your house. And the person's like, what? You know, they're freaking out on you because they're like, I don't, like this person's looking for the phone call, right? Like they pick up, they're very receptive. And it's almost like not selling because you're giving them something, they're not giving it to you. It's very easy because it's a vetted, qualified lead. And so, well, man, dude, it's been a pleasure already in this early stage of working with you. I do believe that the best is yet to come. In fact, what are your goals when it comes to wholesale? Like how many wholesaling, you know, deals do you want to do in 2025?
I felt that I was being really conservative with my goals in 2025. I would love to do 10 to 15 wholesale deals. But also it's just, for me, it's more about learning the knowledge, more about serving more people and kind of giving back. And like you're right, there are people who really need the help and they can't go on the market. You know, traditional real estate is very tough if your home just isn't at that top tier level, you know. So by being able to offer them stuff that I've learned here at Leveled Up, dude, it's been such a game changer. Like 10 to 15 deals, I feel like that's actually a bit low. Yeah. But in my head, that's where I want to be.
Well, I like it, dude. You know, at an average assignment fee of 15 grand, it's not a bad deal. And obviously, even locally with different flips, I know that you got a desire to do some flips and know the process of like getting the right contractor, knowing what to put in, what material do you buy, and having kind of like a blueprint where it's not like, I like to do a flip, but you know, a lot of times I feel like when we don't know what the next step looks like, and we don't have anybody that's saying, hey, maybe step here or don't step there, it is difficult. The truth is, I've really not done anything where I'm just going to go run, you know, straight ahead without running on a path that somebody's already laid before me. And that's been my motto from day one. Like, dude, I want to be a good copycat. Like I said about Daryl, now I was copying in high school. Now I'm copying now, and I was copying when I got in the insurance. I wanted to, hey, if you know where to go, show me the way forward. I want to be able to step there because I don't want to cross this gap, get to the other side, and I lost a leg. Why? Because I stepped on a landmine because I didn't know what I didn't know. And so we definitely want to be able to help each person with that. Like my desire and goal, same as yours, Daniel, is like, hey, can we help people maybe step into the real estate industry, give them a couple options that's going to make it more fruitful for them, and then maybe somebody that's been a realtor for a while that's saying, man, I want more. I want more. I want to be able to make more, do more. I love the industry. I love to be able to have a higher understanding of how to build my portfolio. But man, I'd like to be able to just to do something else and be able to kind of reach and connect to a different audience where I can service them with maybe some cash offers or what have you, and make some money doing it that way. So,
dude, you won't believe how many realtors just work. They don't invest in themselves. They don't invest in their retirement. They just work. And before you know it, one day they're old and decrepit and they have nothing to fall back on. So learning the investment side is super important, not just to serve people, but also for yourself, to set yourself up, your future self, so that way your family reaps the benefits of it.
I love that, man. And that kind of, I hope that maybe scared somebody. Like, hey, you got some time. Time to act is now, right? Because like the thing is this, sometimes you feel that that you get that glimpse of like, okay, maybe I should step into this. But the reality is, you know, and I'm a man of faith. Like I feel like the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and he doesn't want you to reach new levels, right? And maybe that glimpse is for you to say, hey, we got to act now, right? To know, not to do is not to know. Let's go out there and start developing a knowing by the doing. And so take that next step. Reach out to us. Love to have a conversation with you guys. You can find us on Instagram, Leveled Up Investments. I know I will put my handle here and Daniel's as well, but reach out to us. Let's have a conversation, and maybe we could just step into, and you could add to what you're already doing, just some education when it comes to, you know, the wholesaling, flipping, and those different pathways to go out and make more money in this industry. And so, guys, I hope this served you and served you well. Daniel, pleasure being in business with you, brother. Let's go out there, take it to the next level, guys. It's time to level up. No better time than now. No better person than you.